I'm having a lot of fun in the Smart Wood Shop. This LR32 jig that I've had sitting around and I didn't care to use it. After I created the Smart LR32 jig, it has made it so useful in the shop. And I decided that I wanted to go to the next level with it and create another set of stops so that I could use it to build the MFT table. I picked up a 20 millimeter bit and I have been working on this project. I am 8 days into this, and I'll tell you, watching this video and doing the voiceover, this is from quite a few days ago. It's different. This is not how it's going to turn out at all. But with every variation or version of a tool that I work on or a design that I work on, it either is successful and I'm one and done, or I learn something. There is no failure when you're working on a project like this or designing. You just keep working, and everything that doesn't work teaches you something so you can move on and improve. And sometimes I like to keep working on it even when it does work, because I just think that, okay, I've got it working, but it's too complicated or there's too many potential for errors. And that's where this one I felt, though it worked and it's adjustable, I felt that the adjustability would lend itself to not setting it up right. And so I wanted to eliminate that. I wanted to spend all the time to build it right to begin with, but then not have it be adjustable as far as the spacing between the holes. Because again, the way the jig works is that you drill one set and then you use the dogs, push it in that set. And so if you're off even 1/10 of a millimeter, by the time you're in your 10th row of holes, you're off by 1 millimeter. And so I want to avoid that. So you'll get to see the difference as it's evolved. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to go out here today and make the full on top with the latest version, and I'll make sure that I get video on that as well. You have to forgive my voice here in the voiceover, and I was watching the video where I'm talking in it here coming up in a minute, and you'll hear it there as well. I am, when I'm actually, this video that I'm making, I'm right in the midst of COVID. I just a really rough case of it, fatiguing and just breathing and all of that kind of stuff, really tough. But didn't miss any of my workouts, didn't really miss any work, got everything done. But it was a bit of a struggle. But again, now I'm past it, so just got to have the only thing left is just a little roughness in the voice. I was not expecting that. The TSO triangle is machined down to like 1/1000th of an inch, very precise. And setting up this jig to work with the LR32 to create the MFT holes and have to march it up, I was thinking that even if I was off 1/2 millimeter in my initial setup, that wouldn't matter in the real world for one set of holes for the cabinet coming in from the edge or coming in from the back. You're only doing one set, and it just, you'd never notice being off just that tiny amount. But when you're using the first set of holes to index for the second set of holes, that's indexed for the third set of holes, and on, that if you're off, let's say 1/10 of a millimeter here, by the time you're on your 10th set of holes, you're off 1 millimeter and more as you go further. And this is, it's absolutely contacting. And I've checked the whole top here. Now this isn't the full bench top. I did cut a top and I'm going to do the entire top, but this was my test piece. Plus this is a nice little top anyway. I can come up with a use for that, so it wasn't a waste. Working on this guide to add to the Smart LR32 jig for about 4 days now, and actually started with a single bar to go all the way across, and I cut holes in the jig, thinking that I could lock them in with bench dogs, and that would give me good accuracy. There's a lot more holes in it than would actually be there. I cut a bunch of holes because this was my test. I started in SketchUp, And then I built it. I used actually the LR32 and the jig to make all of these holes. And I've marked out the actual holes that I would keep. Each guy would have a lot less holes in it. But then I got to thinking, what if I just created a separate adjustable guide? And so I went this direction, and it worked out pretty good. I do think there is the potential to get off with this. So I may go back to this one. If I do, of course, I'll create one that's, I'll do the next one so that it'll be a little clearer. The reason for the width on this is I set it up for the Paulk Smart Big Bench, which is wider, as well as the Paulk Smart Bench. So I've got those holes labeled. I've got some more development and testing to do to refine this and get it to where I like it and that I can depend on it. But with this cut being my first attempt and it being that accurate, it definitely shows potential. If you like the Paulk Smart designs and you think they'd be handy for you in your wood shop, you can get a set of plans to build a smart station, a smart bench, the smart wood shop, or even the brand new Paulk Smart LR32 jig. There's a link in the description of this video where you can go and purchase plans. And as soon as you purchase them, within minutes, you'll get a receipt from us, and then you can download the plans. That all happens 24/7, 365. Mahalo for hanging out with me in the Smart Wood Shop.